Hello, this is Raziel Cohen with ndftraining.com. I just wanted to jump in here and make a video because I found a very interesting video. It was just sent to me, and this video, from what I'm seeing, was uploaded less than 24 hours ago. So this just happened. So this is a very crazy video because this is something that's going to be happening potentially a lot more, and it's something you should be very aware of. So there's a company called Moonlight Industries, and they make kind of really low profile chess rigs. To my understanding, they said that they have a contract with SEAL Team 6. Really cool stuff. I checked out their website, really nice manufactured stuff. And this guy, the owner of Moonlight Industries, has a person come to them, the two members from the ATF, and the ATF was telling them that they now decided that the FRT triggers, which is the force reset triggers, are now classified as machine guns, which is absolutely ridiculous. This didn't go through a court system. This didn't go through the House. It didn't go through the Senate. The ATF has decided that a trigger mechanism is now classified as a machine gun. So what they're doing now, again, without any formal laws going into this, are now collecting them. Now, the problem is that I guess since this was kind of grandfathered in at the time when people were purchasing them, they weren't classified as firearms. There's no requirement to be able to let people know if you're transferring them. So if I bought one and sold it, or if I bought one and just gave it to someone else, then it's not something that needs to be trackable because at the time it wasn't classified as a firearm and it wasn't classified as a machine gun. So right now when they're collecting them, I feel like they maybe have to take different tactics to be able to do it, because unless they know 100% that you have them, then they can't really do much about it. Now, the problem is that I'm sure if they knew for sure you had them, if you had a few of them, they could just raid your house because they're now machine guns and they're not lawfully owned by you. So I'm sure this would have gone differently if they knew for sure he had them. He really interacted really well with them. Ideally, it's always better just not to speak to them, speak to a lawyer. But for the way the interaction went, I thought it was really amazing. I want to show you guys the video. And I also want to point out some things the ATF did, which was really shady in regards to their terms that they use. It's very common that they'll use certain words or phrases to be able to make you almost admit to having something. So let's check out the video together. And I want to show you guys what they did. So we'll pull the video up. I want to show you from the beginning, and let's listen to it together.
Yeah. I own the company Moonlight Industries.
Okay.
Oh, really?
So we make like low visibility.
Oh, really?
We specialize in like, right now we have a contract with SEAL Team 6 actually.
Okay.
We make their like low visibility MP7 rigs.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Okay, cool. So, were you expecting us?
Well, it didn't surprise me when I saw a guy in a plate carrier showing up. So
Well,
got the
we're
Ultima
obviously-
OTBs on. So.
Yeah, no. So the reason why we're here is because I don't know. I'm sure you're aware that just recently the ATF classified the FRTs, the force
Sure.
reset triggers,
Mhm.
as machine guns.
Yeah.
So we are aware that you may have purchased some of these FRTs.
Okay.
So now we are having, like, the whole agency is basically reaching out to these purchasers,
That's incredible. Yeah.
and we have to pick them up. They're
Okay.
illegal.
So I won't be answering any questions.
Is already really crazy because they're just kind of doing it as that, yeah, we decided, although you already spent your hard-earned money on it and it was legal for a certain period of time, it's not something that's grandfathered in. It's not something we're paying you back for. We're just here to pick it up. As a side note, by the way, I just wanted to point out her chest rig seems very low. So meaning if she has a actual body armor in it, it seems like the plate starts lower, unless I'm missing something and she's using soft plates and there's something else padding it up for some reason. Just as a side note, your body armor is supposed to go from the top of your sternum and cover all the way through your vitals. So you could see the other officer, his looks like it's high enough and it covers well, but hers just seems a little bit no, just an observation. But in regards to the way they're interacting with them, they just kind of laugh it off, like, yeah, we're here to collect them. But again, they don't necessarily know for sure if you have them, because I'm sure this interaction could have gone differently. So he now just said, I'm not answering questions because he understands what's about to go down. And let's see how they respond.
Today, I don't have any comments on this subject. I won't be giving you anything.
Okay, so you
Are you refusing to give us the trigger?
Ooh, are you refusing to give us the triggers? That's a very sneaky question, because if he says, yes, I'm an American, I'm refusing to give you the triggers, what you just admitted to is you have them. And that could have changed this entire thing, because now you just went from, I don't know if he has them or not, to felon. Because immediately you just admitted to having them, but you're not willing to give them, versus just saying, I'm not answering any questions. They're still unsure. Again, this could have gone differently if it was a fact thing. Like, I know this person has the triggers, because at this point, if they're saying what they're saying is true, that it's now classified as a machine gun, it doesn't matter, because that doesn't matter anymore. We already know that you have them. You're not licensed to have a machine gun. This conversation's over. They could detain you.
I'm not refusing anything. I won't be answering any questions.
okay. But okay, so we are aware that you did purchase FRTs.
So now this is kind of like a scare tactic, which means if a person still owns them, they could say, well, we know that you own them, we know that you purchased them, we know that you have them, or again, but they don't know if you have them anymore. These are just like tricks they might use to try to, as long as you slip up and they're confident that you now own them, this could have changed the interaction, but they can't necessarily do that yet because they don't know for sure.
Again, you wouldn't be in trouble if you just gave those up to us, or
Okay.
if you sold them, you can tell me you sold them.
Sure.
You know,
Okay.
and again, you're not going to be in trouble for that.
I understand.
So we're just here, honestly, like just to pick them up.
Sure. It's a bigger conversation than what you're having right now. You know, you decide as you go the rules, right?
Again, that's not something I decide.
It's
to
not.
do.
I know you guys are just here.
I-
You guys
I
are just
don't
here.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at
I
all.
understand.
I don't want to be here any more than you want me to
Sure.
be here.
Well, it's the problem is you are the people who go and knock on the doors, right?
Mhm.
So when they make new laws and you break them, or you go against the citizens because they've spoken what they buy and what they do, the citizens are speaking, but the government is making their decisions on what they think. They're not being servants to the citizens, right?
And all we're saying is, you know, like, I mean, we, like you said, you know, we just hear, we are the ones that just come and knock on the door. We just
Sure.
enforce the laws. We don't make the laws. So
We're just here to enforce laws that were created by the ATF, not necessarily that was put through by the actual government system that America established, but we're here to take your stuff even though you might not want to. And look, we're just trying to go home to our families and, you know, just do our job. And that's not the way to work. This is a really, really big problem.
Sure, I
you know,
understand.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're not in trouble. I mean, you
No,
didn't
I
buy
understand
them,
that.
You know.
No, I didn't do anything wrong. Exactly. That's
So-
yeah. I love good law-abiding cops who are good people, are doing what they do, and I understand you have families to feed. You're just doing what you're told, so you don't get fired from your job. But there is a problem that exists, and at some point you have to make your decision on which side of the team you're on. So I won't be answering any questions. If I'm not being detained, I'm not under arrest, I'll just be leaving now. I won't be able to help you with what you're trying to find.
So, and just to be clear, so then now you know that if you were to be in possession of these FRTs, then you would be basically breaking the law.
The ATF claims that they're making rules, but there's been no vote. There's been no congressional hearing.
So just remember now at this point that she's saying that she started off by saying, I'm sure that you're aware that the FRTs became illegal. And now she's saying, just now that you're aware, you're a felon, which means technically speaking, if he were to have walked out with them to give them in, he's already past the time that technically he might have needed to be given in or destroyed, which means who's to say that he wouldn't have actually been arrested at this point? So now they're kind of playing it off as like a warning, like you should be aware. Again, they still don't know he has it. If they knew he had it, it could have been entirely different because again, she's saying right now that you're aware that you could be a felon, which means the interaction could have changed dramatically.
Hearing that says you have the law. You don't make law, right?
I don't.
Yeah, the ATF doesn't make law.
Again,
No.
but it's.
I don't want, listen, right now I seem like a huge dick. Like, I'm like, fuck you guys, but I really don't feel that way at all. I just can't, in good faith, when I make the gear for every high-end special operations unit in America right now, that's all I do. That's all I do is support these freedom fighters. A lot of law enforcement SWAT guys, I can't take part in an overstep past the line that says this is or is not legal. Just because you have a badge, you can still do crimes, right?
Right.
So if the American people feel like the ATF is committing crimes right now, I can't help you. I'm sorry. I just can't.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I appreciate your time.
Okay. Thank you.
So again, a really crazy interaction. This is something that we're starting to see more videos on, of ATF coming to people's doors and just talking about different things that we think you own. Also for what's referred to as straw purchases, where a person, like let's say I'm about to have a class and I want to be able to have 10 guns for new shooters. I'll purchase them as an investment. So long term, if I have basic classes coming up, I'll provide the firearms for them. So let's say I buy 10 lower receivers at once. That's something that gets flagged and immediately sent to the ATF. And then the ATF shows up at your door and says, we just want to make sure they're all here because we want to make sure that it wasn't sold or given to someone else because you know that's a lot of guns to be able to own. So these are things that, again, if this interaction happens with you, you do not engage, don't have conversation. This is not about you versus them, you versus the police. You need need to be able to have a lawyer to make sure that anything you say can and will be held against you in a court of law. So you really need to make sure you know what you're saying, which generally ultimately means unless a lawyer is present, do not answer questions because it will ultimately be way, way worse for you. Even though his interaction went well, you never know any kind of slip up he might have had could have entirely changed this situation. I'd love to hear you guys' feedback on this. I'm gonna leave information about Moodlight Industries in the comment section below so you guys could check it out. And feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear what your input is on this.